Heinz Linge, SS Sturmbannführer, Hitler's personal attendant. His first-hand account of Hitler receiving the news of Mussolini's fall is the most intimate and emotionally vivid primary source perspective available. There was a rule in every dictatorship that you quickly learn to live by. You do not bring bad news to the Führer. Not directly, not bluntly, not without preparation, calculation, and sometimes a sacrificial intermediary. For years, this rule has shaped the rhythms of the Third Reich. You soften messages, you delay them, you disguise them beneath numbers, charts, excuses, anything to avoid inciting Hitler's volcanic rage. His generals know it, his ministers know it, even the men who guard the hallways know it. There is a reason the rule seems unbreakable. Because when Adolf Hitler receives unexpected bad news, empires tremble, plans collapse, lives end, and the entire machinery of the war can be thrown off balance by a single, uncontrolled outburst. For 4 years of grinding conflict, this system of fear keeps the Reich functioning. But in July of 1943, at the height of war, as armies bleed from Stalingrad to Sicily, one moment detonates that rule from within. Because on the evening of July 25, 1943, the unthinkable happens. Benito Mussolini, Il Duce, Hitler's closest ally, the first pillar of the Axis, is gone, deposed, arrested, removed by his own king. And the man who must deliver this shattering news is you. But in 1943, one message, one man, one moment changes everything. You are Heinz Linge, born in Bremen in 1913, the son of a metalworker. You grow up in the shadow of a collapsing Weimar Republic, watching men stand in bread lines and arguments erupt in beer halls over politics that seem to twist tighter every month. Discipline becomes your anchor. Routine becomes your language. By the time you join the SS, you are known for the things most men overlook: spotless uniforms, perfect timing, and the ability to follow orders with a quiet, almost monastic precision. It is that precision that earns you attention. By 1935, you are not just any attendant. You are recruited directly into Hitler's personal service. It's a strange kind of promotion, one where the uniform grows sharper, the quarters grow closer, and the dangers become invisible but constant. You learn the strict codes of the Reich Chancellery, how to enter rooms silently, how to interrupt at exactly the right moment, and never a second too soon, how to read Hitler's micro-expressions the way a sailor reads shifting winds. You become the shadow of the Führer, as some officers call you. And shadows see everything. You see his morning rituals, waking late, taking tea, clearing his throat in that habitual rasp before speaking. You see his late-night habits, tea again, piecing again, monologues rolling past midnight, sometimes until 2 or 3 in the morning. You learn the rhythms of the war through the way his mood shifts. Victories bring animation. Defeats bring silence and pacing. Setbacks bring sudden, violent eruptions. By July 1943, you know these signs as well as you know your own heartbeat. And you know the Reich is in trouble. The maps tell one story, but Hitler's reactions tell the truth. He is tired. He is stretched. And he is angry at realities he can no longer shape by sheer force of will. It is late July, summer heat pressing down on the Wolfsschanze, Lair, Hitler's command headquarters in East Prussia. The compound sprawls across 6.5 square kilometers of forest, concrete bunkers, and camouflaged buildings. The air smells of pine, damp earth, and the oily tang of machinery. Generators hum day and night. Guards patrol in endless loops, And everywhere, officers carry maps that grow redder by the week. Stalingrad has been lost for 6 months. Kursk has just ended in disaster.
The British bomb Hamburg into a fiery inferno. And now, in Sicily, the Americans and British punch through the Italian defense line with terrifying speed. Italy was supposed to be the soft underbelly of Europe. Instead, it has become the Axis's bleeding wound. You see how each message hits Hitler like a physical blow. Reports of Italian divisions retreating, reports of Italian commanders being hesitant to fight, reports of Allied paratroopers capturing the high ground, reports of German positions being isolated, cut off, and forced back. And always the looming question: where is Mussolini? Why isn't he giving orders? Why isn't he rallying his ministers? Why isn't he responding to Hitler's demands? Because you know something most German officers do not. Mussolini's prestige is collapsing inside his own country. The Italian people are exhausted. Rations are slashed. Cities are bombed. Soldiers mutter openly about defeat. Factories produce less each month. Workers strike. Entire divisions surrender in Sicily without firing a shot. Whispers of discontent drift north like smoke. And Hitler senses it. Even before the news reaches him, he feels the tremors of something breaking. For weeks his conversations circled the same theme. Italy must hold. Italy must fight. Italy must show strength. But deep down, you see the fear in his eyes. The fear of fighting a two-front war entirely alone. Because Mussolini isn't just an ally. He is the second pillar of the Axis, the ideological partner, the friend, the man who inspired Hitler early in his political career. And yet, in Rome, the Fascist Grand Council meets behind closed doors. Count Galeazzo Ciano, Mussolini's own son-in-law, turns against him. Marshal Badoglio positions himself for power. King Victor Emmanuel watches silently as the structure of fascism decays. You do not know the details, but you know its consequences. Every signal from Italy feels wrong, too quiet, too hesitant, too delayed. It is like listening to a radio with static. The message is there, but something interrupts it. On July 24th, the mood in the Wolfsschanze shifts. You see officers whisper in hallways. Teleprinter operators glance nervously at one another. Ribbentrop seems agitated. Keitel looks pale. You sense a storm coming before anyone names it. Hitler spends the day reviewing the Eastern Front. His voice is hoarse from lecturing generals. He complains of headaches. He orders more tea. He mutters about weak allies and cowards who refuse to stand firm. You stay close, as you always do. Near evening, a junior communication officer appears at the doorway, eyes wide, throat tight, holding a sealed envelope. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. You know what a message of that kind means. You take it, walk the familiar 10 steps toward Hitler's desk, feel the weight of the envelope, thin but heavy with implication. But before you open your mouth, consider everything that has led to this moment. Hitler's emotional state has been deteriorating for months. He stops trusting his allies. He doubts his generals. He obsesses over details no leader should micromanage. Bridge lengths, rail schedules, fuel numbers drawn to the liter. He chews on his mustache absent-mindedly when stressed. He stares at maps for minutes without speaking.
The pressure of a global war presses down on him. And now, the one man he believed would never desert him has vanished from power. You, Heinz Linge, stand at the fulcrum of history. Your entire role, your training, your habit, your instinct is built around anticipating Hitler's needs, smoothing his world, shielding him from shock, and yet you were about to deliver the most devastating shock of his life. The war is already slipping through his fingers. Germany is already stretched to breaking, and the last thing he is prepared to hear is that his closest ally, the man he believes Europe depends on, has been pushed aside like yesterday's newspaper. You feel the air tighten, your stomach knots, your pulse quickens, because once he hears the truth, nothing inside this bunker will remain the same. His decisions will change. His desperation will rise. His paranoia will deepen. His anger will scorch everything around him. And you, the man who stands closest, will be the first to witness the explosion when Mussolini's fall finally reaches his ears. You inhale, you step forward, and you begin to speak. It begins with a phone call, a brief signal from the German embassy in Rome, a trembling voice, a coded sentence. Il Duce is no longer in control. You freeze. The operator freezes. Everyone in the room freezes. It is 17:45 hours. Hitler is in his private study, reviewing casualty figures from the Eastern Front. He is already irritated. Your instincts recognize the signs: rapid foot tapping, a half-finished cup of cold tea, silence that stretches too long. You hold the printout in your hand. The ink is still warm, and you can feel heat rising under your collar. You step forward. Mein Führer. He looks up. His eyes narrow. A millisecond calculation. He senses the tension before you speak. You place the message on his desk. He reads the first line, then the second, then. His face changes. It happens instantly. The tightening jaw, the twitch beneath the left eye, the rapid inhalation. He reads the final line. Mussolini was removed by order of King Victor Emmanuel III. Status unknown. The silence.
How dare the council turn against him? Against me? He turns on you. Who sent this? Is it confirmed? Who dares claim such nonsense? You answer carefully. Multiple diplomatic sources, mein Führer. We are awaiting further... He cuts you off. No, impossible. Mussolini would never allow this. But you can see the truth sinking in. You can see it fracturing him from the inside. Then comes the moment you fear. He demands details you do not have. What forces were used? Where is he held? Who commands Rome? What orders has the king issued? How many divisions stand loyal? You have none of those answers. You brace yourself. He stares at you, waiting for clarity that does not exist. And then, a knock. Foreign Minister Ribbentrop enters, pale, sweating, holding another dispatch. Hitler snatches it. He reads it once, twice. His breath shortens. He grips the page until it trembles. It is confirmed, 100%. Mussolini has fallen, and at that precise second, you watch something collapse inside him. He staggers backward, gropes for a chair. His legs bend, his back curls, his head drops. You have never seen him like this. Not after Stalingrad, not after defeats, not after bombings. His voice emerges in a rasp. They have destroyed the Axis. He says it as if reporting his own death sentence. He orders immediate action. Present tense, rapid-fire commands, rage fueling every syllable. Get Kesselring on the line. Prepare for airborne operations. Alert the SS Panzer Corps. No delay. If Italy collapses, the entire southern front is lost. You scramble. Officers sprint through corridors. Phones ring in a frenzy. You hear numbers shouted. 7 divisions in northern Italy. No, only 5 combat ready. Transport aircraft grounded by damage. Allied bombers detected. 200, maybe 250 incoming. A staff officer breaks down the situation. Mein Führer, if Italy defects, we lose 1,200 kilometers of coastline, 30 airfields, and the entire Tyrrhenian flank. Hitler explodes. Not if we move first. He slams a fist onto the map table. Pins jump. Lines shift. A marker rolls across the floor. You can smell the tension, sweat, smoke, ink, the lingering scent of stale coffee. And then he says it. We will rescue Mussolini. The room stops.
He outlines it with terrifying clarity. An airborne assault on Italy. A plan with no intelligence, no scouting, no preparation. He gestures at you. You will remain close. Every signal from Italy comes to me instantly. Then another surge of fury. He paces. His voice rises. He trusted them after everything, 21 years, and they betray him like this. You watch him unravel in real time. Countdown tension begins. He demands confirmation of Mussolini's location. None. He demands loyalty numbers from the Italian army. None. He demands assurance that Italy will continue fighting. None. Each none is a blow to him. The rage returns, violent, uncontrolled. We must secure Rome. We must seize the king. We must. Mid-sentence, he grips the edge of the table. His hand trembles. His knuckles whiten. For a moment, you fear he may faint. The room holds its breath. Then comes the lowest point. In a near whisper, he says, "Without Mussolini, we stand alone." The admission stuns even him. You feel a chill run down your spine, because you know the truth. If Hitler believes abandonment is spreading, the entire Axis could collapse in panic. This is the moment everything hinges on, the point where failure seems certain. And then, another officer enters with fresh intelligence, a radio intercept. Allied broadcasts, clandestine Italian whispers. It confirms an unthinkable detail. The Italian government has opened secret channels with the Allies. Hitler freezes. His pupils contract. He whispers, Verrat, meaning treason. And then he erupts. We move now! We will seize northern Italy, disarm the Italian army, occupy Rome, and restore Mussolini by force. His voice shakes the walls. And in this moment, as rage, fear, and desperation collide, you must steady yourself, because you know the next explosion is coming.
If you find this kind of untold history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of fear, collapse, and consequence deserve to be told. And by subscribing, you help ensure they aren't forgotten. The night spirals into chaos. Hitler summons Keitel, Jodl, Guderian, everyone. Orders fly faster than they can be written. Voices overlap. Deploy the 1st Parachute Division. No time! They're scattered across Avellino! We can divert transports from the Balkans! We need those against Yugoslav partisans! Then use the Luftwaffe! They only have 320 operational aircraft left!
Every number adds urgency. Every statistic adds dread. Hitler snaps, "Then use everything you have!" As midnight approaches, he shifts from rage to icy calculation. This is the most dangerous phase. He calls from maps, switches to micromanagement, demands specifics on fuel levels at Verona, railroad capacity south of Florence, SS battalion readiness in Innsbruck, weather over the Brenner Pass, paratrooper availability near Munich, tank recovery units around Lake Garda. His mind races at impossible speed, connecting Italy to Sicily, Sicily to the Balkans to the Eastern Front. He runs numbers aloud. 3 divisions in Tuscany, 4 more near Milan, 15,000 Italian troops in Rome, 500 tanks usable, maybe 600 with repairs. He grips the table. Not enough. Then the revelation hits him. He must act before Italy switches sides, before the Allies seize the peninsula, before Mussolini disappears forever. He looks at you. "We will save him, Linge, no matter what it takes." And you know, this moment will shape the final years of the war. What no one in that room realizes is how far the shockwaves of this moment will travel. Hitler's panic triggers Operation Achse, the rapid German occupation of Italy. Within 72 hours, more than 800,000 German troops begin mobilizing southward. Entire divisions reroute. Airfields fill with aircraft. Columns of armor snake through the Alps. Every man, every weapon, every liter of fuel he can spare is thrown into stabilizing an ally that no longer exists. But the consequences are catastrophic. What they don't know yet is this: Italy has already begun secret negotiations with the Allies. Hitler doesn't trust the Italian army. The Italian army doesn't trust Hitler. And the entire peninsula becomes a battlefield between former allies. Worse, the resources poured into Italy drained the Eastern Front. If even 20% of these reinforcements had gone east, the battles around Kiev or Dnieper might have unfolded differently. The logistical chaos undermines the German defense of Sicily, accelerating its collapse. And the most dramatic ripple of all, Hitler orders a covert, high-risk mission to rescue Mussolini personally. It will become Operation Ice, the Gran Sasso Raid, one of the most famous special operations of the war. But none of that is known on July 25th. All anyone sees that night, you included, is a man unraveling, lashing out, scrambling to hold together an alliance made of crumbling stone. The true impact won't be understood until months later, when Allied troops storm the Italian mainland, when German forces stretch themselves thin, when the entire strategic balance of Europe shifts.
All because Mussolini fell and Hitler panicked. In the years after the war, Heinz Linge, the quiet shadow who witnessed this collapse, returns to civilian life in East Germany. He is detained, interrogated, and eventually released. He fades into obscurity. But his detailed accounts preserve one of the most human, vulnerable moments inside Hitler's regime. Through Linge's eyes, we see not a caricature of evil, not a propaganda figure, but a man collapsing under the weight of a failing empire. A man who believed Mussolini's fall meant his own destiny was sealed. Heinz Linge died in 1980,
one of the last surviving eyewitnesses of Hitler's inner circle. And to this day, his testimony remains one of the clearest windows into the emotional shockwave that reshaped the war. This story matters because history is not only about battles and strategies, it is people, their fears, their mistakes, their unraveling in moments of crisis. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Heinz Linge and the men who witnessed the Axis collapse from the inside do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.